Double trouble.
I want to make sure it down a little.
Oh, Mark will be so happy.
Take a little.
Fresh out of the oven.
Grandma made us pie. She doesn't complain, but you know she's suffering. I would say all these can go through. Yeah, because they probably need to get more in. Oh, good morning. Oh, we're all in. Oh, just starving. I know. Good morning. We are not lambing. We have not lambed in 3 days, I think, or 2. I thought I would start the day over in the market lamb barn and just do some weights, but we only had 10 ready, so I think we're gonna just sit on them for a bit. I'll probably ship them next week or the week after, just depending on how many get weighed up next week here. I wanted a quick look at the pasture because our pasture is so long, and I was like, are these girls doing anything? But they are. They're just starting here and making their way through the rainforest. So it is getting hacked back a little. I really don't think they need grain, but I am just sort of making sure Ruby gets some because she's pretty skinny, which is a little upsetting, but she's still eating well. And definitely for Teddy and Peta, they need a little bit of grain still as they're growing up to be little women here. Hi, Ruby. How are you? You're getting skinny on me, aren't you? Oh, you guys are getting spoiled. Spoiled. Fresh. I was going to go over my weights with you guys, but I'm like, I'm not shipping any this week, so there's no point going through that. I'll wait till I ship them maybe next week or the week after. We're sort of just going by how the animals look here next week. It's supposed to be hot this week, so I can't see them gaining a whole lot of weight. But while I have you, I don't think I ever updated you the other day, just with everything going on with Jess. She's had a rough weekend. I don't think I really ever updated you guys on the lambing session. So I'll just share with you guys where we are so far with this group. I think maybe we might have like 5 left, and that's an absolute guess. So far we have 95 that have lambed, and we have 221 lambs recorded, 2.33. So I think we've stayed around 2.3, I think, this whole entire lambing. That doesn't usually happen. Usually we can start out pretty high, and then it sort of drops from there, but we've stayed at 2.3, I feel like, since like the second day. I feel like that, but maybe I could be wrong. And I mean, out of that 2.3, there's mortality in that, so we are probably sitting darn close to 2.1, I'm thinking, 2 to 2.1. I have a few things to do this afternoon, actually. I really need to evaluate my ewes that lambed in March. I have to go through that group sometime this week. I'm also on tap for taking Jess to chemo this week. Starting tomorrow. Mark took her today, and thank God he did. I was going to, and I decided at last minute I wasn't, because I had to be back here by 4. I have Rex coming to scan my April bred ewes, so he's coming at 4:30, and I'm like, if Jess is like getting in there and it's one of her big days, I'm like, I don't know if I'll get back in time, and there was no way I would have been back in time, so it was a good thing Mark took her today. Yeah, so it's a small group, so it shouldn't take us too long. But there's a lot of setup with his system because he brings his own chute. So I have to spend the afternoon getting that ready. And also, if I have time, I'm going to go through some data to see about this next group that has to be evaluated for breeding in July. Never really stops.
For a second, I was like, Mark's doing a really good job getting his dog on a diet. She looks a lot slimmer. And then I'm like, wait a minute. I want to make sure you down a little.
Oh, Mark would be so happy.
Maybe a little.
All right, kids. So I'm on training duty tonight. These little nuggets, they were on the bottle too long, and now they will not. We got one sort of on this. Watch what you're doing here. So this one's drinking really well. But these two little twins, triplets, are not. Today's scan went really well with Rex. We ended up with 88%, which in April never happens. It is a small group though, so I think we will only have 72 ewes lambing in September, which for September, it's actually going to work out really well because that's when we start to get busy with harvest. We'll be doing corn silage. Might be doing fourth cut if we don't have a good third cut. And the other thing is the September group, they will lamb in September and then we'll get bred again in January, and I'll have ewe lambs from March across the road that I started sorting here 2 weeks ago. They'll line up, so those two groups together will make a good decent sized group again. So we always seem to balance out. When I have a small group, it usually works out that I get a ewe lamb group that I can add to it, and then it makes the numbers even again, which is really good. You've got this figured out. But you like my hand here. My machine is acting up again, so again that spinner gets scooped up and then doesn't want to spin. So I cleaned it out and it started working again, but I don't want it to do it when these guys are hard on it. Why are you so cute? Why are the cutest ones the hardest ones to train? Double trouble. Double trouble. Yes. Yes. You're doing good. That's my baby. Look who's walking. First time in 2 weeks.
Has it actually been 2 weeks?
Well, it was you haven't walked since your first full week of chemo. Yeah.
Wow.
This is our first day of week 3, which is the first day of round 2.
Yeah, and I'm bald.
Yeah, but look how pretty in the sun.
I'm so bald.
Right.
Ooh, chilly.
Helicopter.
Welcome TikTok to my daily drug intake. These are all the drugs I have to take to help with side effects from chemo. So let's get into it. Today is a lot of drugs, so that's fun. Capsule that my mom squished by accident.
Is it okay?
It's okay, it just pops back in. Let's take that.
Nothing came out, did it?
Then I have these two bad boys to also help with nausea. I'm real bald. Wow.
You're rocking it.
Okay, stop procrastinating. Cheers. Ewy. Okay, now this one is to help against my boleo, which I'm doing today, because I always get fevers from them. So pretty much they almost treat it like I'm allergic to it. And so this is actually like an allergy.
Asthma pill?
It's actually allergy. It's for childhood asthma.
Right.
But they're using it as an allergy med for me.
Will they give you Benadryl too?
Yes, they also will give me Benadryl. These ones are at least smaller, thank God. Okay, one more. Well, two more. Now Tylenol. I get fevers from my boleo, which means I have to always have Tylenol in my system. Dare I say I'd rather my injections.
Mm-hmm.
Done. Oh my gosh. How many pills was that? One, two, three, four,
five,
six. I'll get 5 more when I get in there. So what patches of hair still about I have?
Let's see. Ah, it's not. You're almost gone. Round 2, day 2. You've had 2 good days though.
This week has been better. It's weird. My longer weeks
Hi.
seem to be better.
So far.
Knock on wood. It is only Tuesday.
But we have to get her in and get her some Tylenol because today's Tuesday and it's her
Fever day.
fever day. So we're keeping on top of it with Tylenol. So the clock is ticking. And this rhubarb pie smells really, really good.
Yeah, fresh out of the oven.
Grandma made us pie.
Love.
Oh my. All right, I gotta go feed those lambs too. So
We're busy.
we're busy. Busy girls.
Yeah, and it's hot now.
It is hot. I have some good news. We've got 1 out of 3 drinking. But my 2 little tiny Tims will still not actually drink from it. For the last 3 days, I've had them on the nipple and they're sucking and wiggling their tail. They're doing all the things, but when I feel the milk, it's cold. So I'm like, well, you're not sucking fresh milk out. So anyway, it's been a little frustrating, but at least we got 1 on today. That's a dub. That's a win. I'm just gonna run back into the house, make sure Jess is okay. So far, these last 2 days have been really good. So we're counting our blessings. These lambs look so good too. Also counting my blessings. Good morning. We have already been hard at it because I have this morning off hospital duty. We are going to be leaving here shortly in the next hour. So I took some time this morning and I vaccinated my bottle lambs with that Clostridial antitoxin. And that's just because I want to introduce creep. So we have all our creep areas set up for the animals that are born so far. We've still got that back pen, but I think likely I'm gonna, because there's only about 5 ewes left to lamb, I might just add it to the big group and then put another creep area at the very back of that pen. So we only have 1 more to set up, really. They've got a ton of room, which is really nice. Bottle lambs usually get pretty cramped as they grow, so I like giving them a little more room this time. So that's working out well. Giving them all the space for lambing has worked out really well. Sort of my only con to this is with ewe lambs, because they tend to lose their babies. So we've got a couple lambs in there that I see they're trying to steal a bit and they're getting kind of skinny. So I'm like, they have lost their mom or the mom has given up on them and they got lots of room to run away from them. That's the only sort of negative in doing it this way. But I think overall health of these lambs is better with the square footage, the more square footage. So I've got lots of jobs pending, but I think I've got to push them to next week because I want to be on tap for Jess and Chemo this week. She's been doing, knock on wood, I haven't seen her yet today, so I do not want to get my hopes up, but so far, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday have been better for her. Yesterday I was a bit scared because she had a wave of nausea as we got to the hospital, so I was a bit leery that we were going to have a bad day, but she said she sort of turned around kind of midway through her chemo treatment. And then, yeah, she ate supper last night, and when I left her, when I went to bed, she was still doing really good. So knock on wood, hoping the rest of this week still remains good and that we can get through those next 2 weeks, you know, as good as we can too. But every day's different, and she said it the best. We never know until she sits up every morning and sits on the side of her bed and kind of takes stock of, does my head hurt? Does my stomach hurt? Do I feel woozy? Am I dizzy? So all the things. So I'm gonna go wake her up and then head back to the hospital. It's pretty sad when I don't have enough sheep to keep ahead of my pasture. So Mr. Brock took it upon himself to do their dirty work for them. Big Mama, what are you doing? Oh. Peter! Hello, tomatoes. Hello, Peter. Hello, Teddy. Hello, Margie. Popcorn. Billy's mom. Ruby. What do you think of your grass? Get it all cut for the rain? And you get some good grass. Good morning, you guys. It's finally raining a little bit, a drizzle. Ruby Sue, are you pushing or just panting? She's panting. Yeah, these ewes are gonna be next week, I guess. I thought maybe I'd have a couple that were gonna lamb this week, but I've gotten up every single morning. I sort of slept in this morning. It's like almost 6 o'clock, and I thought for sure we'd have lambs, but nada. The one thing I have been doing to make this morning visit not quite a waste of time every single day this week is I have those bottle, the lambs that just hadn't been getting on to the milk machine, and I think we're down to 1 now. And also the milk machine, if you remember my last lambing group, it was acting up quite a bit, and it's been doing that again. So I've been sort of babysitting it to make sure the spinner keeps working. When the spinner doesn't work, then it runs out of milk. like it just won't run. So we did order a new spinner motor, so I think Mark said it showed up yesterday. So I'm gonna see if he will put that in for me today while I'm at the hospital with Jess. Yesterday was a terrible day again for her. Wasn't sure because she woke up and she ate breakfast, but she just wasn't. When Jess isn't chatty, then I know it's gonna be a bad day. Today is her last day of the big week, so she's done chemo for the week today, and then for the next 2 weeks she just has it on Tuesday. And I shouldn't say just has it, because for whatever reason those 2 weeks off in round 1 were her worst 2 weeks. Good morning. Have we got this figured out? You figured it out finally. She's the only one left. Figured it out. Why don't you figure this out? Because I keep feeding you. You're done. Hi guys, I'm just getting back from the hospital. Today's appointment took quite a bit longer than it was supposed to be. Our appointment was at 10:45 and it is now 10 to 6. And I just finished feeding that little lamb. Yeah, so poor Jess, the last 2 days she's been really ill. And the problem with this chemo story, I guess, is that when she has a few good days in a row, you have this strange sense of like confidence, I guess, and you feel like everything's gonna be good, and then she's so weak. So yeah, yesterday and today I've had to like escort her in because she is so lightheaded, and she's tall, so if she goes down, she's going down far. The problem with Jess is when she starts getting really ill, she stops talking. And I think that equally breaks my heart as much as seeing her in pain, because she just doesn't talk and she doesn't complain, but you know she's suffering. It's turned out to be a really rough week, and I thought the way it was starting that we had figured out a really good plan for all this. And none of the plans seemed to work for very long. So anyway, they've got her on another, they have her on another, anti-nausea pill. What they're really concerned about today is her blood pressure is really low, so that's why she's so lightheaded. She loses her vision. Her eyes have been hurting. I think it's all really boiling down to the fact that she's so dehydrated. So today they actually took her blood pressure. They called the doctor. They said her blood pressure is like, I think it's called hypertensive. They almost weren't going to do the chemo today because it was so low, and he said pump a bag of fluids into her, and if it goes up then you can continue, but if it doesn't go up you can't give her chemo today. So it went up a little bit, Jess said. So she did get her chemo. She seemed a little more talkative on the way home, so that's usually a good sign, but anymore I'm just not getting my hopes up because it's very short-lived. So anyway, that's our Friday. I haven't decided if I'm going to work this weekend or what. We're just kind of taking every day based on how Jess is feeling, and then we fit all our work into that. She is our schedule right now. Okay, I'm going to shake this off and go hang out with my girl. Bye.